Hey everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Film Freaks, movies that we love.
That we love.
I'm your old pal, the Moo Cow, aka Paulie Presenza, and I'm, as usual, joined by
Jonathan Moody, your co-host.
All right. So, we didn't have a whole lot of time today, so the original movie I was going to pick was one I had just picked up on Blu-ray, but we'll save that for another time. I ended up picking something a little shorter, and it's a movie that I had been thinking about putting on to Forgotten Horror Classics, because it kind of came and went, and not a lot of people saw it, but I saw it and I really liked it. I can't say that it's a perfect film, but it's a lot of fun. It's pretty interesting, and I don't know if you've seen it or maybe even heard of it before, but the movie is called Cold Skin.
I don't know. No, I've seen this cover.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird sort of mermaid movie, kind of, sort of. It's very interesting. It's a bit of a period piece too, and it's actually pretty darn good. Cool. I liked it a lot. So, yeah, interesting. Had you seen?
I've never seen it, but I think I've seen this cover somewhere.
All right.
Alrighty.
Yeah. So we will check out the film, and then we'll come back and talk about it. See what Mr. Moody has to say about it.
Till then, see ya.
Yeah. Okay, so we are back with the movie Cold Skin. So,
Cold Skin.
First time seeing this?
It was my first time.
What'd you think?
I enjoyed it. It was, so I've told you before, I like movies like The Fog, and I like movies where a lot of it's set to sea or lighthouses or things like that. So when I saw that, that's pretty much a lot of the plot was involving lighthouses and sea and stuff like that. I love that aspect of it. Also like the creatures. Like the creatures look kind of cool. So
maybe you're a seaman at heart.
I am.
There you go.
I mean, honestly, if somebody were like, do you want to come be a pirate for like a year? I'd be like down with that in a second. I mean, could you imagine you can't be online. There's no, you're kind of cut off from the world that you live in. It sounds like it'd be a perfect thing for you.
Yeah, well, apart from the raping, killing, pillaging, looting, that kind of part of the pirate.
Yeah, I mean, if they were just nice pirates.
Nice pirates. There you go. That's a movie. The Nice Pirates.
The Nice Pirates. They don't like the bad pirates. They're the good pirates.
It's like in Eric the Viking. We're all terribly nice to each other. It's like, what? All the time?
There's a VeggieTales song called The Pirates Who Don't Do Anything. That was a song.
That's great. I like that.
Yeah, but anyway, I enjoy that aspect of it. And I really, really liked Ray Stevenson.
Yep. As always, he's always really, really good. So let me read you the back. It kind of encapsulates what the movie's about. It says, on the edge of the Arctic Circle, a steamship approaches a desolate island. On board is a young man poised to take up the post of weather observer to live in solitude far from civilization. But on shore, he finds no trace of the man he's been sent to replace, just a deranged brute in the lighthouse who has witnessed a horror he refuses to name. For the next 12 months, his entire world will consist of a deserted cabin, rocks, silence, and the surrounding sea. Then, night begins to fall. And then it turns out they're not quite alone. So there are these fish people who live there. And they don't really go into the explanation as to how or why they're there. And ultimately, it doesn't really matter. The idea is that they are just alien enough to be very, very different from humans, and yet familiar enough that they're very human-like, so that they have clearly some kind of intelligence and some kind of self-awareness and understanding, and possibly even a civilization. But it never gets that far, because by the time we are introduced to them along with the main character, somebody else is already there, and it turns out Gruner. And Gruner is a very, very broken man for various reasons that they hint at but don't go into detail. And he has already touched off a war, and there's really kind of no turning back. And so he kind of gets swept up in all of this, and things go as far as they could possibly go before things actually finally break down. And he kind of goes through all that, and we witness that. And it's a really interesting movie. I like how they're sort of in this desolate beauty landscape, cut off from everything. You know, you're isolated. You're sort of forced to live on your own wits' ends, and you're stuck with somebody that you really don't particularly like, but at the same time, you're sort of forced to depend on them. And to make matters even more interesting is that they have one of the fish people with them, someone that he ends up calling a Neris, who is different from the others. And it turns out that the reason is because Gruner found her in a net, and he actually saved her life. So she feels compelled to, to help him and be loyal to him.
And have sex with him.
Well, yeah. I'm not sure she loves that, but she's doing it.
Well,
she's super loyal to a fault.
I don't know if she loves or doesn't love, because it doesn't get to that where she doesn't look like she's not enjoying herself.
She's alien, so it's hard to tell. She definitely doesn't like being abused, and he does.
He does abuse her. He hits her a lot, and it's a very toxic relationship.
Very toxic.
But it was nice to have her there, because she brought the sweetness into because if she weren't there, I think that, I guess his name's Friend, that's what it keeps popping up as on the subtitles, but he was the one who got called in to help and kind of take over for the last guy. The last guy, we believe, spoiler alert, because this is like the ending of the movie, but we believe that when the last guy died, this guy took over, and so that's the same thing that happened. Is he was probably the guy that was called Gruner was this Gruner was the only one. So I don't know how many Gruners there've been that kind of existed to deal with this situation. But then Friend came in and then kind of took over.
He kind of breaks the chain.
I don't know if he broke it or not, because I guess because they're not. I mean, by the end of it, they sort of became friends.
Yeah, I think the conflict part is done.
Right.
But then you never know. Who knows? Maybe the conflict wasn't there originally, and it was Gruner who set it all off because he arrived there already broken. You know what I mean?
I don't think so. I think
it's hard to say.
I think, and you can't say, because we don't know the full backstory of how far it went.
We only know is that the war has already started by the time he arrives there, because the lighthouse is already studded with freaking spikes and all kinds of defensive shit there.
And on the first day or first night that this happens, the guy has to fight off all of these creatures that he wasn't expecting to have to fight off.
And they just assume he's like Gruner. So, yeah. And the thing is, she's a great character because Daenerys, she humanizes the creatures. Otherwise, they're just going to be straight up monsters. You know what I mean? So she shows us that clearly they're much more beyond that. And as it turns out, there's definitely misunderstandings, miscommunications going on because, Friend is the one who actually makes the attempt to try to bridge the gap between them by communicating with them.
I don't know why they never tried that to begin with. I mean, because they had her. They could be like, can you go tell your people that we don't mean war? We're just trying to...
That's kind of a more of an advanced message than she can understand, probably.
You could try.
Maybe he did. I don't know. But then again, like I said, he arrived broken, so maybe he doesn't care. You know what I mean? It's hard to say. It's like a shame. It's almost like if Friend had been there first, maybe none of this would have happened. And that would have been very interesting because who knows? I mean, the whole other unspoken about thing is that there's this other race of non-human creatures that would, the knowledge of that would set back, knowledge of science 1,000 years. It would be a huge thing, and it's kind of washed over because in the end it's all about the conflict and the misunderstanding than it is about anything else. Because you could set this in space and be like an alien species that you meet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
or you could just do it in. It reminds me. What was the movie? I forget the name of it. Where the guy is on the Japanese island during World War II, and
The Island.
no, it was long before that. This is a '50s movie, and he's got a. You think he's going to be enemies with the enemy mine. I think is what the later movie was based on. But they have to work together and have to overcome their cultural differences, and they're kind of like alien to each other. And it's kind of similar to that too. So it was very interesting. It's looks to be a combination French and Spanish production. It looked really really good.
It was beautiful.
A gorgeous movie. Seeing it on Blu-ray and on our 4K TV made it look even better.
Made it pop really. Like the sea was beautiful. The just the island itself was beautiful. They did a really good job.
And I like how they paid attention to details with the story. They clearly thought about, why is there a lighthouse in the middle of nowhere to begin with? Usually you would have that to help ships, but if there's no shipping lanes nearby, then what's the point? And then Gruner explains, well, if you're a government institution and you're trying to justify spending money, then this is the sort of boondoggle that you would put out there.
But that's so sad that there are people there that get stuck with that job.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it, but
Well, I mean, if you're a nerd, if you're a weather nerd, then this is like a perfect opportunity to do that. But you get the impression that he is also another kind of damaged soul who's looking for an opportunity to vanish for a year.
Didn't he say when he first got there that there was no weather stuff? Like it wasn't there. There's something about there was no weather or something or other. Maybe he was talking about there was nobody like him there or whatever. But like I don't know, something like that. It was a little confusing in the beginning, but because his job is confusing to me. What does he do? Like
he's tracking the weather. He's the tides, the winds, all that kind of thing. Because meteorology was kind of that's how you did it back in the day before satellites and before all that kind of thing. And in England, I know they would have some pretty desolate places. I know there was the top of a mountain in Scotland where they used to have an observatory where you would do that. Now, why they would have it in the Antarctic, I'm not 100% sure. But again, if you're a government organization and you're used to getting money and you have to spend it in order to justify getting more money, you might think of a boondoggle like that to spend some money so you can get more. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. To keep it going. These things happen.
Sadly.
So he's kind of caught up in that. And it's interesting. And then, of course, the backdrop of all this is World War I is breaking out. So he's there at the very, very beginning and he's kind of getting away from all that. But by the time his relief arrives, they are well into it, and it's not just like this little fishing boat. There's like a fleet of battleships out there. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of cool.
And they also saw that one looked like a big ship, like a battle, kind of thing, and from the distance. Mm-hmm. And he wanted to shoot the flare, but Gruner did not want him to because I guess he just didn't want it to end. He was happy. Mm-hmm. He was happy exactly where he was. He didn't want all of a sudden. And he didn't want to be alone, because had your friend just left, he'd be all alone to have to defend himself. So all of these things, but he could have gone with them and said, fuck this place, I don't want to do this anymore.
But you get the impression he doesn't want to go back to his life because whatever happened with his wife.
Because he had a wife before, yeah.
And what I like about that is that throughout the course of the film, you're getting information that you need, but you're getting it in small, revealing chunks. You're not getting this big, giant exposition dump at the beginning. Even if you might want it, the movie doesn't give you that, and it allows you the time to see things slowly reveal. Yeah. And that's a really, really a mark of a good story.
It's also a slow burn.
Slow burn, too.
Yeah. I mean, it is not... If you're expecting, like, action, you're going to get it. It's just going to come after a little bit of story development and character development, and then...
It's a nice balance, I thought.
Yeah. It's not like one of those movies where... Because it's not really a horror film. We're trying to decide... It's
like
not
a dark
horror.
fantasy.
Dark fantasy is a good...
Yeah.
But, like, it wasn't a horror because it wasn't... There was no scary bits. Like, it was... action. There was a lot of suspense. There was thrilling stuff. But there was no, you're not scared of these creatures. you're more, wondering
Concerned for your characters that you've started to get used to and
Get
you
to
start
know,
to care
yeah.
for.
I mean,
You worry about the female fish lady. I mean, Daenerys. You worry about
I did.
different stuff. Yeah.
There's a part where they blew everything up, and they did it the second time, and it really messed everybody up. And I was wondering if she made it. Mm-hmm. That was, and she did, which I don't know, man. She was after that.
And this is
so
a
sad.
film that is carried by basically three actors. Okay, so Ray Stevenson is the big name. We've known him from, the
Punisher.
Rome TV series, Punisher. David Oakes, I don't think I know him previously, but he did a really, really good
He's
job.
fantastic.
As friend. And then, my goodness, Aura Garrido is the one who plays the Daenerys, the fish lady. What a fantastic job. I reckon she was very similar to, or if not better than, Andy Serkis's role as Smeagol in Lord of the Rings. It was that level.
Gollum.
Yeah, I mean, the makeup, plus there were some special effects that were layered on top of it.
It's funny because all I can think of is like they picked blue, right? As the look, and all I can think of is Avatar. I'm sorry, man, and that would
Much
already
better
come
than
out.
Avatar.
I mean, that already come out. I know that's a big Hollywood blockbuster movie, and this is not. But that's all I can think of. And they don't call them because they have these mermaid type, tails or whatever, like feet, and stuff. But they're called toads.
Yeah, he calls them toads out of derision.
Yeah,
is
but
a
they're
shame.
not toads. They're more
No,
like
no.
mer people, I guess.
But she did such a great job. Just the way that she moved, you sort of believed that she's not used to walking on two legs like a human being. Just the way she slouched, the way she used her face. She did a fantastic job, and she did all this at the same time being, very, very alien, and yet at the same time you felt for her. You felt bad when bad things were happening to her. You wanted good things to happen to her. You were hopeful for her. She did just a great job. So I didn't go and look to see what else she's done. I believe she's a Spanish actress, but wow, well done. Really, really
She did a
well done.
fantastic job. I saw her name, but I didn't look into her research or whatever. This is too quick.
And it's interesting because it didn't occur to me till later that you generally don't like movies that involve kind of one spot where everything is compressed and you only have a couple of people.
I don't mind it if it's spaced out in a area where you can go in, out, everywhere. There was space, there was lots and lots of.
There was
and then it
space,
starts off in the
but
ship.
it still was claustrophobic.
Not to me. I didn't feel that way.
Because there is space, but they are compressed into that tower.
I know, but for some reason I didn't feel claustrophobic. But
The movie did a good job.
yeah, no, I didn't feel like. I felt like maybe I felt like I was a little bit inside with them or whatever, but I didn't feel like I. I just thought there was.
And the other thing is when you have a film that has a very small cast, you are relying on those characters to carry the entire film. That's not easy to do, and they did a really good job in this case because they were all very well fleshed out, they were all very well acted, and they were all given proper three-dimensional, believable motivations as to what they're doing and why they're doing it. So
Exactly. I thought he was good because Friend was good because he was able to be sort of the middle of everything.
he's like our connection, the audience's connection.
Well, he's also the middle to both sides. You've got the angry Gruner guy, and everything, and then you've got the other people who are fighting Gruner, and having this war against him.
The angry fish people.
Yeah, so you got the angry Gruner and angry fish people. Then you got a guy in the middle that's trying to be peacemaker to both sides and trying to find,
Well, he has to come to that position because initially he gets attacked too, so of course he's on the defensive. So, you know what I mean? But that's the difference between the two characters is that Gruner can never make that step, whereas he does.
And Gruner said that the last guy, he doesn't know whatever happened to the last guy.
He
Pretty
knows.
much knows
Yeah.
he was taken away by the fish people, because even you pointed out that the fish people like to bring back their fish buddies, and everything.
The dead.
The dead, and so they probably brought him back. They probably ate him, would be my guess.
Nom, nom, nom.
I mean,
Fish sticks.
There was even a kind of a jokey scene where a friend said, does she ever try to like bite you or whatever? And he said, no, never. And then he was like, what about your neck? A little scar there. He goes, well, she tried once, but I put a stop to that, and she's never done it since. And I was like, yeah, that means she could do it again at some point if she wanted to.
And then to add an extra creepy layer on that whole relationship thing is the fact that, yeah, Gruner ends up sleeping with, for lack of a better term, Fish Girl.
That's a nice way to put it.
Eek, which is like, that makes it a little strict. Because however much you feel for Daenerys, okay, up until a point, that doesn't mean I'm going to be, doing interspecial sex. That's kind of a bridge too
As
far
they call
for
it
me.
in Clerks 2, interspecies erotica.
Yeah.
So gross.
So that's, and then the thing is like they, Friend and her definitely develop a relationship, but it doesn't go that far. It doesn't become physical, but they have.
But Gruner sees it and gets really jealous.
Oh yeah.
And then at that point, he wants to destroy all of these creatures because that's the catalyst.
He's managed to communicate with her on a level that he could never do.
Right, and so he gets all pissed off and says, I want to kill. Fine, I'll kill. Well, I'll help you kill all of these things.
It's because he's treated her nicely. He treats her humanely. God forbid.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, and then like the worst part. Oh my God, the worst part is he's finally broken through. They get some of the fish people to come out because they've just had this huge massacre.
Yeah.
And there's like a little fish kid there that was saw him when he was underwater and might have killed him but didn't, left him alone. And then you think there's going to be a reconciliation, and just when you think it's going to be, and here's fucking Gruner like kills him in a horrible way. And it was like, oh my God, just that's like that whole opportunity for peace has been completely dashed.
But they don't really go after. They don't really go after the friend at the end. They kind of leave him alone.
They do. They leave him alone.
And they let, they have their way with Gruner at the end because, Gruner really was the one instigating it all. He was the one causing all the problems.
And I can't help but feel that if this had been more of a standard Hollywood film, that they would have really pushed the romance angle between Friend and Daenerys and, something towards the end. But, they are alien people. They really cannot come together. They're from completely different worlds. So when the time comes, they have to separate.
So so now that Friend is sort of a friend, it's weird to say or whatever, to Daenerys and her people, kind of, because they left him alone. They know he's a good person. He's the one now running. Do you think there's going to be any more war, or is it over?
I don't think so. I think it's done. I think it ran its course.
You think when Friend walks outside and kind of like stares outside with his shirt off, just stares out into the thing, that he's now just saying this is finally over?
Yeah, I think the whole reason all of this started is because clearly the dry land meant something to these fish folk. They were using it. They had those symbols, those little sacred areas, and I think that's why they were attacking Gruner, because either they thought he was trespassing or he was doing something bad to them or something. And because that person's now gone, I think they understand now that not all humans are as bad as that, and it's okay. You know what I mean? I don't think they ever show themselves to any other humans after that, because there's no need.
Yeah, well, there's somebody that's going to take over.
Right.
For
and I think from there on out, whoever it is, it's just a normal thing where they sit there, they do their weather thing, and they never see anything weird ever again. You know what I mean? That's kind of
Well, they did say they were going to go check around the area and stuff, so I was like, the first thought in my head was like, I really hope they don't go into the area where all the...
Oh, they're going to find like all the stuff. They're like, what the hell happened here? Especially the cabin. It's like that, they're going to try and figure that out. But, Friend is beyond caring at that point.
Yeah, what can he explain? Like, I killed all these fish people, like, or helped kill all these fish people.
He's not worried about it at this point. My only question is, what happens? I guess he can't stay because his position's been taken. So, does he want to stay? Does he not want to stay?
I think he can stay because, like, Gruner stayed. You
But
know,
they think he's Gruner, so
I think he takes. I mean, they called him Gruner because they thought he was Gruner, and I don't even think Gruner was Gruner. I think Gruner was some other name, and when they kept calling him Gruner, he just didn't correct them because maybe there was a Gruner before him,
right.
you know, and so like I think it's been like this for a while. It just escalated worse with Gruner because, like you said, he was broken. He's had all these issues, and those creatures were just a reason for him to just be able to take out all of his anger.
I like to think that in the end, we don't see this, but I like to think that at the end, Friend accepts the role of Gruner and stays on the island, and maybe
That's what I thought.
and maybe gets to meet up with Daenerys every now and again, and they have whatever little relationship they manage to have. But there's no more fish wars. There's no more other stuff.
No more fish sex.
Yeah, well, that's possible, I suppose. But yeah, so that's kind of like the hopeful part of me. But I don't know. The film kind of ends, and it allows you to sort of, wistfully think about what might be on your own.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a nice movie. Like it wasn't. Like I wasn't sure when you said forgotten horror classic. I don't think this would be a perfect thing for forgotten horror.
Right,
classics
and that's why I thought for Film Freaks it was a better choice.
Yeah, it's a better choice because it's not a horror film, but it's got horror elements, but not like enough to make it.
It's definitely overlooked though.
It's definitely. I mean, I'd never heard of it. When did it come out? Like
2016.
Oh, it's not too long ago, but still, I guess it's almost 10 years. So.
And nobody talks about it. I've never heard anybody talk about this film.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the poster.
The only reason I knew about it is because mermaid movies are kind of a thing for me, and I have a bunch of them. So when I look around for other films, like Lore was a movie that I really, really dug, and
yeah, I've heard of that one too.
And there's a few of them, and this one popped up, and even though it's not, I mean, technically it is a mermaid movie, sort of, kind of. It's not really about that. You know what I mean? They're more like fish people, not really mermaids.
They're more fish people. Like I said, it kind of had a very H.P. Lovecrafty
It did.
feel to it, and so I feel like this was sort of that kind of vein, like Dagon or something like that.
Or the Doom that came to Sarnoff, where the fish people kind of rise up and attack. I could see them handling that kind of a story. These guys.
I hope they don't, because I hope that this is it. Like they've done it, they move on to something cool, like something else cool. I mean, the director Xavier Gens, I'm guessing Gens, I don't know. He is he's done like was a Hitman and a few other movies and stuff that I've heard of, and I don't really know much about his career. Like I don't really follow his. But he kind of reminds me a little bit of like, who else would have handled this pretty well? Guillermo del Toro. Mm-hmm. And especially since it's Spanish and French kind of, thing. Like, I think he would have.
The other one that it reminded me of, God, I can't remember names anymore because I'm old, but the guy who did Dark City.
Oh, yeah. No, I can't remember the name. Yeah. But I know what you're talking about. Alex Proyas.
I could see him doing this as well.
Yeah. He... The Crow and Dark City, he would have handled this very well. But I think Xavier did a great job.
He did.
The looks of it all, it looked. This is gonna sound very weird, but it looked independent. Like it didn't look like it was this glossy mainstream, the thing that you see all the time where they make it, fix
because
it up to.
It was a minimal amount of special effects.
And minimal lighting and stuff, too. Mm-hmm. Like, it wasn't, other than in the daytime, a lot of it took place at night.
Yeah, and that's my only criticism of the film is that we go from day to night to day to night to day to night constantly, and you start to lose track of time after a while.
Well, I think that was
part of the point, yeah.
Because you're supposed to feel like they do. They lost track of time a little bit. At one point, he had to say that I think it's winter now. And I was like, it's snowing.
I know they even forgot to light the searchlight at one point. But yeah, but the effect still makes you weary, and I'm like, ugh, Would have been nice to have seen like one of the days last a little bit longer than 30 seconds. But that aside, I didn't really have any problems with the film. I thought it was really, really well done and quite enjoyed it.
I did too. Very well. Thank you.
Oh yeah, you're welcome.
Choosing this. So everybody, I don't know if it's on Tubi or anywhere streaming, but if you're able to watch it, buy a Blu-ray of it because I'll buy it at some point. I'm sure if I see it.
Yeah, and it looked great. It really did.
That's
look
a great
good.
cover right there, and it's got behind the scenes EPK and
Nice.
exclusive trailers for Cold Skin, Most Beautiful Island, and Be Afraid. I don't know if those are.
Now I have not actually seen any of the special features, so maybe they'll talk about where. We were both curious about where this was filmed.
Or you can look it up on IMDb. They usually say the locations.
Probably.
So there you go. Well, thank you guys so much for checking this out. We'll be back in a couple months, maybe. We're kind of alternating months for different shows. So this will be November. This will be, this one, and then the next month will be Criterion Watch. Also Paul's. So pick for that. So stay tuned for that one. And we also have other shows coming back. We got Blue Cheese coming back. We've got Short Film Saturdays coming back. We got next year we'll have What the Fuck Fridays coming back. I mean, it's gonna be Docs That Rock will be coming back. We got so much going on.
I actually have an idea for another show, but I'll talk to you about that later.
Mr. Jonathan, you should stop coming up with ideas for shows.
You know me, all I have is ideas.
I know, but then we do them, and then they sit on the shelf for 3 years or whatever. This, thankfully, Film Freaks and Criterion Watch are probably two of our biggest ones that we'll keep doing. All the time. We'll barely ever take a break on those.
Yeah, it's always fun. Film Freaks is movies we love. We love a lot of movies. So
yeah, so we want to talk about them because it's fun talking about the ones that are stinky, but it's also more fun to talk about ones that.
And the other thing is,
more enjoyable.
Once the new season starts, there are 3 movies that are more teen-oriented.
For what?
For ones that I want to show, and I kind of want to show them back to back to back. Just because, I generally don't like teen movies, but these movies, the way that these are done, for Film Freaks would be perfect.
When we come back, I don't know when that'll be, because we got, I think, one or...
Next year.
Next year sometime, but we'll definitely be back. I think I put it for September, but that's a while away, so we'll see.
We'll see.
We may do it earlier. Knowing us, we'll be like, oh, we need to do a Film Freaks. And that's the beautiful thing about this. But we'll have to have a little bit of a break between them. So, And so we can do other shows.
Yep.
We also want to do other shows. So thank you guys so much for checking this out. We'll be back. Until then, bye. Bye, everybody. Where's my jerky poo? There it is.
Did you say drinky poo?
Yeah.
You did. You want fish sticks?